Traffic light. Traffic lights, traffic signals, or stoplights, also known as robots in South Africa, are signaling devices positioned at road intersections, pedestrian crossings, and other locations in order to control flows of traffic. The first system of traffic signals was installed as a way to replace police officer control of vehicular traffic outside the Houses of Parliament in London on the 9th of December 1868. On the 9th of December 1868, the first non-electric gas-lit traffic lights were installed outside the Houses of Parliament in London to control the traffic in Bridge Street, Great George Street, and Parliament Street. They were proposed by the railway engineer J. P. Knight of Nottingham, who had adapted this idea from his design of railway signalling systems and constructed by the railway signal engineers of Saxby and Farmer. In 1912, the first electric traffic light was developed in 1912 by Lester Wire, a policeman in Salt Lake City, Utah. It was installed by the American Traffic Signal Company on the corner of East 105th Street and Euclid Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. It had two colors, red and green, and a buzzer, based on the design of James Hogue, to provide a warning for color changes. The design by James Hogue allowed police and fire stations to control the signals in case of emergency. The first four-way, three-color traffic light was created by police officer William Potts in Detroit, Michigan in 1920. He was concerned about how police officers at four different light signals could not change their lights all at the same time. The answer was a third light that was colored amber, which was the same color used on the railroad. Potts also placed a timer with the light to help coordinate the lights. A tower was used to mount the lights, as the junction at which it was installed was one of the busiest in the world, with over 20,000 vehicles a day. In 1922, traffic towers were beginning to be controlled by automatic timers. The first company to add timers in traffic lights was Crouse-Hinds. They built railroad signals and were the first company to place timers in traffic lights in Houston, which was their home city. The main advantage for the use of the timer was that it saved cities money by replacing traffic officers. The control of traffic lights made a big turn with the rise of computers in America in the 1950s. Thanks to computers, the changing of lights made traffic flow even better. A pressure plate was placed at intersections so that computers would know that a car was waiting at the red light. Some of this detection included knowing the number of waiting cars against the red light and the length of time waited by the first vehicle at the red. One of the best historical examples of computerized control of lights was in Denver in 1952. One computer took control of 120 lights with 6 pressure-sensitive detectors measuring inbound and outbound traffic. As computers started to evolve, traffic light control also improved and became easier. In 1967, the city of Toronto was the first to use more advanced computers that were better at vehicle detection. The computers maintained control over 159 signals in the cities through telephone lines. Countdown timers on traffic lights were introduced in the 1990s. Timers are useful for pedestrians, to plan whether there is enough time to cross the intersection before the end of the walk phase, and for drivers, to know the amount of time before the light switches. Conventional traffic signal lighting, still common in some areas, uses a standard light bulb. The light then bounces off a mirrored glass or polished aluminium reflector bulb, and out through a polycarbonate plastic or glass signal lens. In some signals, these lenses were cut to include a specific refracting pattern. Traditionally, incandescent and halogen bulbs were used. Because of the low efficiency of light output and a single point of failure, filament burnout, some traffic authorities are choosing to retrofit traffic signals with LED arrays that consume less power, have increased light output, and last significantly longer. Asheville, Ohio, claims to be the home of the oldest working traffic light in the world, used at an intersection of public roads from 1932 to 1982 when it was moved to a local museum. Guinness World Records backed this claim by naming it the oldest functional traffic light.